Thank you. I want to show you a documentary. And the reason for this is because of what has happened in our world. Many of us may not realize how we were greatly influenced to think in certain ways about certain things. For example, when you hear that the pink color is for ladies. Now you already know where I'm going. And then they say the blue is for the guys. And so this couple, they got a twin birth. So they have a boy and a girl. So they're going for shopping and they get all the blues for the guy and all the pink. Ask them, where did you learn this from? How did you know pink is for ladies and blue is for the guys? How did you know? Who told you? And then if as a guy you like pink, they say, you want to find out maybe something's wrong with you? Maybe you were supposed to be a girl. Then he starts thinking, maybe I always like pink things. Then they say trans. And then any girl who likes blue things, they say, watch out now. Something's wrong with you. So I want to show you this documentary. And I'm sure you'll learn a lot from it. Watch this.
From raw scenes of dark magic to perverse subliminal programming to evil gender ideologies, Disney is no longer the place to be for your innocent children.
So let's get away from Disney!
When people hear the name Disney, many think about the man Walt Disney. Some others think cartoons, yet some others think about Disney World. Well, Disney is a multi-billion-dollar corporation with a pervasive ownership of a wide network of media companies, including Fox Entertainment Group, National Geographic Partners, ABC News, ESPN Incorporated. They also own food subsidiaries, a vibrant legal outfit, theme parks, as well as a host of other Disney offshoots and acquired media brands. For over a century, this syndicate has installed itself as a powerful force of influence in ways too many to number. However, beyond their powerful installation in economic realms of influence, they have also firmly established themselves as a ubiquitous force of influence in the societal norms. And this has been effectuated through a well-intended and carefully crafted indoctrination agenda on generations of people. According to the Britannica Dictionary, to indoctrinate means to teach someone to fully accept the ideas, opinions, and beliefs of a particular group, and to not consider other ideas, opinions, and beliefs. The indoctrinator in this case is Disney. In effect, they have firmly installed ideas, norms, beliefs, and cultural ideologies in the minds of many for over a century.
In my opinion, the most insidious thing Disney does is that they own real estate in your kid's brain, and they kind of will forever. It never leaves their brain. For example, all these grim fairy tales, all these public domain stories, if you were to say Snow White, if you were to say Alice in Wonderland or Cinderella, most of the time what you conjure up in your head is an intellectual property owned by the Disney Corporation. It's not the public domain version of Alice. It's like the Disney version of Alice.
Yep.
And the more they do that, the more that they literally own thoughts in your head that they can monetize and you can't.
Yeah, it's weird that a corporation has monopolized our imagination. This is beast.
Ironically, Disney was founded by men with religious upbringings, and its initial works were simply depictions of cultural fairy tales that taught good moral lessons. But sadly, this empire has long metamorphosed into a corrupt corporation which wields an evil wand of colossal deception and indoctrination. Unfortunately, its primary targets are children.
You know, those who started Disney were very religious. And they were actually godly people. But in the process of time, with so many changes, until we got some of the most irreligious leftist radicals owning and running Disney.
I grew up with the wonderful world of Disney on Sunday nights, and you curl up with a blanket with your family and watch a great Disney movie, and that company doesn't exist anymore. Disney was absolutely synonymous with trust. There's all this other stuff out there, but Disney was okay. And now that company doesn't exist anymore, and we don't trust them, and we don't want that agenda necessarily preached to our children.
Walt Disney was committed Christian. He was baptized. And I want to read to you something that really is a fact. Listen to this. Walt Disney was a committed, baptized Christian who said, quote, "All I ask of myself is to live a good Christian life, and toward that objective, I bend every effort in shaping my personal, domestic, and professing activities and growth. I have watched constantly that in my work, the highest moral and spiritual standards are upheld." He was a generous giver to the Jewish causes, and he was honored by B'nai B'rith, the Jewish organization, as the Man of the Year. When corporations or companies begin to open the doors to leftist individuals and activists, because like a Trojan horse, he said they'll come in and they'll destroy the company. Dennis Prager, another conservative author and speaker I respect dearly, you know what he says? He says, everything that the left touches, basically, is ruined.
In the wake of the corruption of this global conglomerate, certain deceptive ideologies have been programmed into the minds of many, consequently giving rise to learned behaviors in line with Disney's programming agenda. Beginning with seemingly simple things, such as color and gender segregation. Have you ever heard the phrase, pink is for girls and blue is for boys?
You know where they got it from? Disney. They got it from Disney. And so with these little children growing up, blue for Junior, and pink for Cheryl. Okay. So she starts liking pink. He starts liking blue. And then their friends come to visit, and they carry it to the next house. And we keep spreading it. Pink is ladylike. So if you're a guy and you have pink, they say, ha.
Now let's wind back the clock back to the 19th century. In those times, both boys and girls were dressed in dresses, predominantly in white. This might seem unusual to our modern sensibilities, but it was done for practical reasons. White clothes were easier to bleach clean, a major consideration in a time before modern washing machines. And dresses, regardless of child sex, allowing for easy diaper change. During this period, there wasn't much emphasis on distinguishing genders among young children, and they were often depicted in art and photos wearing frilly white dresses, almost indistinguishable by our standards. However, as we moved into the early 20th century, retailers started to experiment with the concept of gender-specific clothing. This was when color started playing a major role in differentiating boys' and girls' outfits. Pink was originally associated with boys and blue with girls. This information comes from various trade catalogs and fashion write-ups from that period. For instance, a 1918 publication from the trade publication Earnshaw's Infants Department stated that pink, being a stronger color, was suitable for boys, while blue, being delicate and dainty, was prettier for girls. However, this association didn't stick around for long. Somewhere in the mid-20th century, the color swapped genders.
This gender segregation by colors exploded in the mid-20th century, with Disney's marketing and merchandising strategy, which heavily marketed pink as the signature color for girls and the color blue for boys. Franchises, like Cars, these were often segregated in Disney stores, with pink aisles for princesses and blue aisles for action figures. This further reinforced societal norms, until it became a deeply imprinted programming in the minds of many to associate pink with girls and blue for boys.
It's not just the segregation of toys, it's also the very ideas about gender that are embedded in the toys themselves. Ultimately, our children's interests should never be dictated by the needs of the market, by the needs of corporate profit. Rather, the things that our children play with, that they're exposed to, should reflect our deeper values. They should reflect our interests for them.
So they've done real bad things, those guys. So when they hear me talk about pink again now, they'll feel like dying. But you see, I'm only telling the truth. You see, they've deceived the whole world, making ladies believe that pink is their color, because it's called control, mind control. Mind control. And they always try to see how far they can push, how far they can go, and help people drift away from the things of God. That's what they've done for many years now.
So like in the 2000s, if you went to Walmart or Target or your big box stores, you'd have pink princess aisles for girls.
Yeah.
And you'd have the blue military-driven masculine toys for boys.
Exactly, soldiers and stuff.
Yes. So I kind of like wrote about princess programming for girls and warrior programming for boys because, you know, Disney is a military industrial partner, if not completely a corporation for the military industrial complex, and they want to make soldiers. And this has to do, in my opinion, and a lot of other people's opinion, with mind control.
The American Psychological Association, APA, describes mind control as the systematic manipulation of an individual's thoughts, beliefs, or behaviors through psychological techniques. In light of this, two common mind control techniques that have been deployed by Disney through the years are MK Ultra Mind Control and Monarch Mind Control.
You know, there are many people who are victims of mind control, and they don't realize that that's what has happened to them. For example, the very cardinal sin in the Garden of Eden was a result of mind control. Satan played on the woman's mind, played on her thoughts. You read the scripture in Genesis chapter 3, and you see mind control. And she didn't realize what was going on. But Satan uses the same tricks today, playing on the minds of men. Large corporations do it. Countries, governments of nations do it.
Disney is very much heavily involved in MK Ultra Mind Control, has been from the start. Disney was associated with Project Paperclip that brought the Nazi and fascist scientists into the U.S., and with them came MK Ultra Mind Control and the formula for application of it. So Disney's been deliberately involved in it right from the get-go.
Not only is Disney's programming a staple of Monarch Mind Control, some victims even report being taken to Disney parks for programming, and a great number of Disney stars show signs of having been subjected to this form of total mind control.
And that's why people like Britney Spears just went nuts.
MK Ultra mind control rules in Hollywood.
The different places that were involved in MK Ultra, one was Disney, and I was taken to Disney World in Florida. They have a very sophisticated setup in the underground or the underworld of Disney World where mind control programming occurs.
Located underneath the surface are tunnels or utility corridors, which can be accessed through certain unmarked doors located in various shops, restaurants, and attractions. It is in these utility corridors where child pornography, child trafficking, and mind control programming are allegedly taking place.
Stuff like this Disney crap, you say parents think that Disney's teaching their kids, showing their kids something good. More and more parents, Tim, are waking up to the fact that Disney does not have the best interests of their kids at heart. I can promise you. You can look at the stats on how many people are visiting Disney right now. It is plummeting because people realize, hang on, these people are trying to brainwash my kids. These people are trying to teach my kids instead of me teaching my kids.
While Disney's theme parks hold the keys to several levels of mind control, with victims to show for it, another level of mind control that has been directly targeted at children in more covert ways has been through television programming. This time, subliminal depictions and symbolisms of dark magic, Satanism, and even transhumanism are deployed as mind control tools. This is pure evil.
Understand symbolisms. 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 What do they mean? What are the signs? When you see something happening, is there a message? Are these subliminal messages?
There is something very wrong with Disney's new animated series, Little Demon. It's all about the ongoing agenda of normalizing and even glorifying Satanism and the general concept of evil to the masses. I mean, take a look at this trailer and tell me it doesn't openly celebrate Satan. You don't have to watch the entire series, but a simple look at the various trailers available online is more than enough to confirm another fact. Little Demon is drenched in the occult elite's agenda and symbolism. Satan gives the main protagonist cool powers that allow her to fight back against bullies at school and such. The message, Satan is your friend. Another message, witchcraft is female empowerment. Also notice the all-seeing eye in her hair. It tells you that this show was sponsored by the occult elite.
Think about what Disney stands for, the Magic Kingdom. The Disney films are programming to indoctrinate children with sorcery and with magic and with superpowers and all these things that incorporate magic and the occult. I'll go over a list right now. Let's read it out. This is just a few. There's so many more probably. You have Fantasia, the Sorcerer's Apprentice.
Fantasia the movie is a magical spell in which the Disney Corporation casts on the entire world in order to create something that is just fiction or magic and makes it real. And even magical rituals, they tend to gain more power the more you do them over and over. So every time someone puts on Fantasia or any Disney movie, it's really just repeating a magical incantation and making it stronger.
Well, these particular cartoons contain messages that are in some cases very difficult to discern and in others very blatant. For example, in Aladdin, there is a line in the film, "Good teens, take off your clothes," which is discernible to those who are really listening for it, but not necessarily if you're not listening for it.
So how's our little bow doing? Come on, good kids. Take a look. Down, come on.
Wait. But you didn't know that it was there. You wouldn't hear it. The other movie, Beauty and the Beast. There, a nude woman pops up a few times in the background of Beauty and the Beast, filled with subliminal messages. Your kids are watching it, and their mind is maybe not even seeing it, but it's going into their subconscious. Words flashing on the screen over and over. Sex, nudity, filth, all the smut is just coming on the screen. Oh, those movies are harmless. They're filled with subliminal messages. Who knows what your kids are being programmed? Oh, but you know what? I'm sure that it's only just for Disney movies. I'll guarantee you it's the rest of Hollywood probably doing the same thing. And these Disney movies, at first when I was a teenager and somebody showed me this, I thought it was just a couple movies, a couple scenes, but As time has gone on, I've realized that virtually every Disney movie is packed with hundreds of subliminal messages to program the minds of your children. Okay, but then forget the subliminal message. Just the message of the Disney movies is perverted. Even if you just forget the subliminal message. I mean, forget what movies did we bring up? The Little Mermaid. You know, a half animal, half human being. And that's perverted in and of itself. All throughout the Bible, every false god is a half animal, half human being. They're constantly merging of animals and human beings. It's paganism. It's wicked. And yet every Disney movie is pretty much based on the merging of a human being with an animal. It's described in the Bible.
Okay, then they remake them. Why do you think there's remakes of Cinderella all the time? Alice in Wonderland all the time. And people say, why are they remaking it? The original is the best. They remake these films to modernize them for the next generation, for the brainwashing. They redo it because this is the type of programming that has been working for them. Why would they change the programming? The Cinderella programming has been working for them for centuries. They're not going to change the programming and create new programming because look where we're at, exactly where they want us to be. So what do? They remake it. They remake it to modernize it so the next generation can relate to it. Make it more colorful, make it more look modern day. Their pyramids, their all-seeing eyes, all of that stuff is there, part of the predictive programming, the conditioning.
No doubt, the symbolisms are there. And I told you before that these things are being run from the courts. And that's why many of the people who are behind this don't even have a clue what's going on. That's what they've done for many years now. And some of those characters that you see in cartoons and so on.
Transcripts document the close relationship between Walt Disney and FBI Director Edgar Hoover as they correspond about how to bring the FBI's influence into children's TV shows such as the Mickey Mouse Club. These child stars, as well as the children viewing these programs, have been groomed and desensitized by sexual behavior. The correlation between Disney child stars and drug addiction, crime, mental breakdowns, and dissociative behavior are merely products of the victimization they endured while being subject to Hollywood's elite producers and handlers.
Transitioning from Disney into this was easy. I don't know, getting molested from your 6 to your 14 seems like way harder circumstances, or being physically abused all the time seems like a much more difficult situation than have paparazzi following you since you were 12. I don't know. I was still being molested when paparazzi were still following me. So it's pretty hard in my mind to think about these big flashlight photographs and everyone thinking they know me and talking about me, but having no idea the type of mistreatment that I was still dealing with at that time, that everyone around me saw and did nothing.
On paper, they're labeled May monsters. Sheriff Judd took it even further Thursday.
They're nasty, nasty people.
Among the 8 child porn arrests is 40-year-old Paul Vail of Davenport. Vail was, get this, a Disney employee working at the Cosmic Rays restaurant. Just wait until you hear what he allegedly had. Brace yourself.
He was a sadomasochist. There was photographs where they had tied up babies in preparation for sexual battery.
Vail faces a whopping 540 counts of child porn. That's 540 felony charges.
Well, why do people like Paul Vail work at Disney? Because that's where the children are. And they want to be around children.
The long line of people who have come through the Disney programming. Why do you think that is? Why do you think Britney Spears and Justin Timberlake, why do you think all these people start at Disney, okay? Then they get pushed out of Disney, go into mainstream and become big stars. Because they get your children to see them as cookie cutter and clean so that you as a parent are supportive. You say, ooh, look at Britney Spears here. She's a nice girl in the Mickey Mouse Club. The kids become fans, right? Hannah Montana, the kids become fans. And they feel like they're growing up with her. Then they send her out of the Disney programming, into the mainstream media. And her attitude changes. The way she dresses changes. She becomes sexual. Your children are now growing up with her. Now they're getting older. Now they're dressing like that. Now they're following him. Right? They get them to worship these false idols because they can relate to them. They're the same age, right? Ooh, Britney Spears understands me. I grew up watching Britney Spears. right? Then Britney Spears' programming changes. She goes from being a princess to being a whore, right? Why do you think that is? Or Miley Cyrus, right? She goes from being cookie cutter to being a demonic entity on TV, dressing like a demon, pushing sex, pushing drugs in her music and alcohol and all that stuff. Because they get the children to start following these people, and then when they push them out into the mainstream, they'll change the way that they appear. They'll make them more adult, okay? The children are now teens. The parents can't control them anymore.
Another horrible form of indoctrination the Walt Disney Entertainment Company has championed in recent times is the sinister introduction of the failed LGBTQ agenda into their programming content. In a leaked video from an internal meeting with Disney's top executives, this much was exposed.
I don't have to be afraid to, like, let's have these two characters kiss, let's in the background, like, I was just wherever I could, just basically adding queerness.
This is Carrie Burke, who is the president of Disney.
I'm here as a mother of two queer children, actually, one transgender child and one pansexual child. And also as a leader. And now we know, as my son texted me this morning, Gen Z is 30 to 40% queer than the other generation's moms. So Disney better get with it.
With the president of Disney's General Entertainment proudly posing as a mother of a catalog of LGBTQ children, it has therefore become more preposterously dangerous than ever to leave your children exposed to any more content from the Disney Corporation.
So Disney is not the beautiful, nice company that you used to know. Lots of things have changed.
So while Disney continues to toe the line of negative programming and indoctrination of innocent children to pervert their young and impressionable minds, we must now more than ever be more vigilant and arm our children with the truth of God's word, packaged in pure, healthy, godly content for children, as this would be their ultimate shield against the destructive onslaughts of the adversary, in his quest to lead them down the paths of darkness and destruction. Behold, children are a heritage from the Lord. Psalm 127 verse 3.
Thank you. So, those of you who like showing your children cartoons from Disney, you have to be careful. There are subliminal messages in all their films, in all of those cartoons that adults don't observe. The children are not listening to the message of the film the way adults do. They're looking at everything on the screen from top to the bottom. And these people know it. The producers and directors know it. They know how children watch. There are things that get their attention. The adults don't see those things. And then the next thing you know, the child receives a demon because they're controlling their thoughts. Demons come to them in their dreams. Demons come to them in their thoughts because they hold those images in their minds. You have to be careful. You have to know how the devil operates. Through thoughts, through dreams. Those are very easy ways for Satan's operations and manifestations. All he has to do is give you some images or words to be played back in your mind. And then he's attracted. Then in the night, They have dreams any time of the day. Sometimes it leads to sleepwalking, sleep talking. And it can get worse. So stop entertaining children because you think it's entertainment. But the producers weren't thinking about entertainment. It's clothed with entertainment, but it's not entertainment, it's conversion. It's conversion, recruitment. They're recruiting an army for Satan. So, think how they got it. Think how they got it. It wasn't originally for them. It was a good man who owned Disney with a good plan, but got hijacked. Like a lot of other good things that used to be good and are now in the hands of the left. It's no surprise. I mean, you go to Europe, you see large cathedrals that are now shopping malls, shopping centers. They used to be places of worship. And then you go to places like Japan today with lots of gods. They're not called gods. They just dress them up. You got snakes that people like to see. Very beautifully decorated. Why snakes? The people are misled. Or in India with millions of gods. Almost anything in Hinduism is a god. A rat passes and you can find it says it's a god. They start praying to the rat for protection. They will not allow you send that rat out of the house. That rat came to protect them. Oh, they said the way that cow went, it's a god. They start putting sacrifices by it. It's Hinduism. No religion is good. Because religion is man's blind pursuit of God. Christianity is not a religion. Authentic Christianity is not a religion. Okay, so take these lessons from the film seriously. Jude, look at the book of Jude, chapter 1 and verse number 8. See what the Bible tells you. Likewise also these filthy dreamers defile the flesh, despise dominion, and speak evil of dignities. You ever see what happens with them? They become filthy dreamers. The dreams are filled with filth. And then the next thing you know, they say things about God. They despise authority. Divine authority, of course. They hate the thoughts of Jesus. Speak evil of heavenly things. How old is he? He's just 15. So then they grow up like that. And that's how come many who are like us That's how they grew up. Learning the bad stuff and praised around the world. But the Bible says they were filthy dreamers. Their hearts are full of filth, wickedness, evil. So these are the people who saturate the left. When I say left, I'm talking about the political left. Because they've all gone political today. Why? Because of their lust for power. They like to stay in power. So they've moved that way. It's the easiest way to stay in power. Why do they want to do that? For control. So they can control resources and do the kind of things they want to do. Like USA ID. USA ID was, I'm glad we can say was today, because it's been broken. But they were doing bad things. Very bad things. All right. So,